I hope you all had a great weekend. It's EmParallax. I didn't forget about that new light here. We are going to discuss her easy name and her hard to understand skills all in this video, so stick tight everyone and let's get to it. So I hope everyone's hyped for the new hero. We're just going to start at the top. Like I said, easy name to pronounce, Aida. I verified this name with Wrath of God. Shout out. I like to use him as my check just to make sure I'm pronouncing new hero names correctly. Secondly, I think she looks pretty awesome. So check on the easy name. Artwork is awesome. Now the only downside, and we're going to go through it the best we can, is her skills are actually pretty difficult to understand. I don't know about you, maybe it makes sense to you guys, but it's just very convoluted for what I think it's trying to say. So we're going to try to break it down to the best of my ability. Hopefully I don't steer you guys in the wrong direction, but I'm just going to interpret it as I see it. Please feel free to correct me if you guys know or think it's something else. So let's start with her active skill order restore. Some of it's basic. This part's straightforward. She deals 268% of her attack, which is armor ignoring damage, which is pretty awesome, against 4 random enemies or enemy. And then it inflicts a balance mark on all enemies for 3 rounds. So basically what this balance mark does, this is confusing just to read it. When enemy skills with balance mark casting active skills, they will take damage by 25% of self max HP from due attackers, which caps at 3,000 percent of Aida's attack, non-stackable. Translation, at least to me, obviously, is when a hero or an enemy with a balance mark casts an active skill, they're going to take 25% of their max HP, which caps at 30 times Aida's attack. Not stackable. That is my translation. If that's the case, that is pretty awesome. So let's just say you get Aida up to, let's just say 80,000, right? So 80,000 times 10 is 800,000. Times that by 3, about 2.4 million, give or take. I mean, I'm sure you could get her damage up a little bit higher than that, but in essence that's just when the enemy casts a skill, not even including her actual damage dealt by the active. So I'm pretty sure that her active is pretty overpowered. I'd love to see it. I'll have to do hopefully some people get her on the server pretty quickly just so I could see if she actually is OP. Sadly for me, I am so far away from getting any mage tech that I do not foresee her being on my squad for a little bit, but that doesn't mean we can't build her. Next, she has a huge HP boost of 40%. She has the 100% holy damage boost, and then 30% damage reduction, and an 80 speed boost. Overall, I'm basically seeing that that's going to help keep her alive a lot longer, and while dealing some pretty nasty armor ignoring damage with her active, holy damage, all that good stuff. So going forward, the normal attack, we're going to do Fury of Justice, passive skill. The normal attack will turn into deals 120% of attack damage against the enemy at the highest HP, and you then deal 20% more damage based off of you deal more damage based on 20% of the enemy's max HP, a fifth of their max HP, which caps at 15 times Aida's attack. And then you recover 35% of all damage dealt in a round, and basically recovers self HP 35 all damage dealt in a round, which is pretty awesome. Now that is, it sounds like it is just all damage in general dealt that round. If it's more specific, it would be pretty OP if it's just all damage like they say. Just completely all heroes, enemy, friend and foe, all that. More realistically, with all of her active skills and all that, it might just be her. But from the translation and what it sounds like to me, It's all damage dealt from all sources, friend and foe, which is a huge, huge heal. And I lost connection to the game server. Awesome. Sorry about that, guys. We're back. I don't know what that was. My internet was fine. We just had a little hiccup there. But we're back. So we just described Fury of Justice. And now, finally, we have Final Verdict. So when the round ends, you deal 300% of the enemy's attack damage against respective enemies and reduce all enemies' heal effects they received by 10% and recover self HP by 15% of max. So basically that's going to be pretty nutty. So if you think about it, at E3 you'll already get, or if you choose it, you'll get your HP boost from that at the end of each round, plus an additional 15% here as well, and the ability, I think regardless of skills and all that, whatever their end of the round heal effect or whatever healing that they receive, it will be either initially reduced or it'll be taken as damage. I'm not sure how they're going to work it, but I think it just reduces the effectiveness of that all healing received by 10%. So the heal effect they received. So in that whole round, whatever heal effect they received, reduce it by 10% at the end of the round, which is pretty nuts. Then also, when that round ends, you're dealing 300% of the enemy's attack to that enemy, which is pretty, that's basically 3 times whatever their attack is. So pretty good chunk of the damage at the end of each round. So what do I see? That is my take on all the skills. And what do I see? I see so far, just by looking at the skills, a pretty solid PvP and PvE hero. Mainly because PvE-wise, that armor ignoring ability, the holy damage, the extremely increased speed. So, right, I don't know, building her, I would want her to get off her active, basically as much as possible. With that speed, she's most likely gonna, and I have to see 1238, let's just look, what, I don't want to do this, let's just look, I'm just looking at kind of base speed, Heartwatcher 1169, usually assassins and rangers have some pretty good, so yeah, 1203 is the highest I'm seeing, so having it be 1238, obviously you can increase that more, but I feel she's going to be a pretty solid PvE hero, especially against bosses if it actually, if you get into like guild bosses basically, or raid bosses, all that stuff, it's going to deal a considerable chunk of damage in my opinion. And also just the PvE, and we'll have to see how much all of this end of round damage and balance mark, how much it tallies up to, because I have to see now. I mean, I think on average my battles last between 3 to 6 rounds, maybe some last longer, but on average I think 3 to 6 rounds is a typical battle. So it seems like obviously the more rounds that go on, the more damage, or she's just going to keep dealing damage and damage. So I have to see, obviously, is it going to, it's just from the looks of it, it sounds like she's going to be a force to be reckoned with. But in battles that might be only going 1 or 2 rounds, if there's some late game craziness, I don't know how her damage will compare to some of the other heroes. But just by looking, she has that sustain, she has that reduced damage, she has I kind of always call it like damage over time. She has that. She also chunks the enemy with the highest HP plus the armor ignoring active. I think all in all, it's a very solid kit for a hero. But again, we'll have to see how it compares to the meta, how she actually performs. I mean, she could look good, she can look bad, but then when she gets in battle with all the other heroes, synergies and all that, she might be awesome. and she might not be. Because a lot of the times, as you guys know, the new heroes just seem super OP when they come out, and then you actually, when they're put into play, they don't perform, or sometimes the ones that some you think aren't as good actually are. So we are going to have to see. I'm looking forward to seeing her on maybe some teams, seeing some damage, all that good stuff. But I would say by far, awesome mage. Wish she wasn't a mage, just because I really don't have any room for her on my squad currently, and I'm not going to for a long time. But that is my take on the new hero, Aida. What do you guys think? Did you pull any of her in this event? I have not. I went through about 150 heroic summon scrolls so far. Not very much by any means. So I'm not surprised that I did not get the new hero. But did you guys get lucky, get multiple copies of her? How high did you get her to? E1, E2, E3? If you're just amazing, that would be pretty awesome. And what are your opinions of her? I am very interested to hear. But that is just a little quick discussion on Aida. My personal opinions of her. Easy name, like I said, a little bit more challenging skill descriptions, but overall I think she's going to be a pretty solid PvP and PvE hero, but we'll have to see. But EmParallax here. Before you go, if you like the content, make sure to hit me with a like and a subscribe. I appreciate the support. Come join the community. We have an awesome one. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I will see you guys a little later.